So joining us now is Janice Stein, the founding director of the Munk School of Global Affairs. So much to talk about here. I want to start with the aid that is expected to start flowing into Gaza pretty soon. How critical is that aid at this point?
It is really dire in Gaza right now, Adrienne. There's not enough water. There's not enough food. We are starting to see early signs of dysentery, which comes from the lack of clear water. And of course, the most controversial part of this, fuel. Four trucks will cross immediately, and about 200 trucks a day, as long as this pause truce holds.
Those trucks with the fuel aimed for the hospitals?
They're aimed for the hospitals. Of course, you know the allegations that Hamas was able to siphon off fuel from the hospitals. I imagine this will be supervised by the Palestinian Red Cross as it goes in.
Some of the UN officials, like Lynn Hastings, a Canadian, had said to us that when the fuel comes across, it is tracked in coordination with the Israelis. There are trackers, there's satellite imagery, there's drones, that they know exactly how much fuel is going through and exactly where it's going to and exactly how it's being used. Is that going to satisfy?
Yes, I think it will, and that's partly because the situation in northern Gaza has changed so much. None of the hospitals are functioning there, and partly because those trackers are now in place. It's critical, though, that those hospitals get fuel in the south, given the number of wounded and badly injured kids, mothers, that are happening every day.
So let's talk about this exchange of the hostages and the people being kept, the Palestinians in the Israeli prisons. Step by step, can you walk us through what we should all be looking for in just a few hours' time, really?
Well, this will start, I think the part we will see first is Palestinian women, and mainly young boys who threw stones, participated in demonstrations that turned violent. They will be released first. You know, it's a 3-to-1 ratio. They will likely board buses. Those jails are in the north of Israel, just south of Haifa. They will come down. There will be one final check at Ofek, and then they will wait. And only when the hostages are in Israel, are arrived in Israel, will they board buses again and go to their villages in the West Bank. That's when I think reporters will see them most clearly, because they will return to their families. There will be celebrations. Despite the best efforts of Ben-Gvir to stop that, there will be celebrations in those villages.
So that what you just said is an interesting point, because that's the national security minister who has said, seems to have told that the police and the military do everything you can to make sure there aren't scenes of wild celebrations when those prisoners come out. Why?
Well, first of all, this is the one among two of the most right-wing ministers in what is already a hard right government in Israel. Why? Because they do not want these scenes of joy and celebration in the West Bank. And I think in part, Adrienne, because we're not going to see the same thing on the other side. We're not going to see those scenes of celebration in Israel.
Because the hostages, as we understand it, there's a very delicate procedure for once they come across, then they go to the hospitals. They will be protected by security, private wings of the hospitals, and then becomes sort of a medical process and a security process. And then, I mean, the details of what's about to happen to them are very precise.
Very, very, very scripted. Now, why is this? One, there's a lot of concern about the physical condition of these hostages. You know, very minimal food, 1 meal a day likely, no sunlight. In addition, some of these, 3 of them, are very, very young children. Very concerned that they not be bombarded by the press and even by their families. So that's problem number one, and I think that process will take 24 to 36 hours. Second concern here is last time 2 women were freed. One of the women held a press conference immediately It was an unscripted press conference. I think that is what they're trying to avoid.
One last thought. We don't have much time left. Can you look forward for us? What's going to be the critical thing to watch for?
We have to watch that every day. Those lists are sent over of names. I'm optimistic that we will get through the next 4 days, but will this process extend to 10? Reasonably confident, big decision coming at the end of those 10 days.
Janice, your insight is always really important, really valuable. Thank you for
Pleasure
coming
to be
in.
with you.
Appreciate it.